last half hour or so has been pretty miserable. We're Jordan and Emily, an Australian couple who are travelling the world full time. After spending the last 4 weeks travelling from Istanbul down the west coast of Turkey and seeing a bunch of bucket list items, we wanted to finish our time here on a high. So we made our way to Cappadocia for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Or at least, that was the plan.
Ooh, good morning from Cappadocia.
Good morning from chilly, balloonless Cappadocia.
Yeah, bit of a different morning than you would normally expect for Cappadocia. We wanted to start with amazing views of sunrise and balloons floating everywhere, but there's no balloons.
On average, they fly 300 out of the 365 days a year, but for every day we're here, they're not scheduled.
Yep. Decided to spend 3 nights here in case there was a bad weather day. Apparently the last 2 days, so windy. I get why it's cancelled. And the next 3 days are all not running. So instead, we started this morning with a nice breakfast with some chips and eggs and pastries, and it was okay.
It's included, so it's pretty nice. But since there's no balloons, which is the main thing people come here for, there is a couple of hikes that we really want to do. So today's the best weather we're going to get.
Cold enough that we immediately need jackets.
It is so windy that little wind whirlwind, what are they called? Little mini tornadoes are forming. So after some research, we've decided that we're going to take the Love Valley all the way to the next town over, which has a castle, and from there we're going to take the most popular hike back to Jerome, which is where we're staying. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but the Love Valley has some very unique shape fairy chimneys. Oh, it should take about an hour and a half there, an hour and a half in the town, and then probably an hour and a half back. So it's going to be a pretty long day.
Wouldn't be a Jordan and Emily video without a dog. This guy's called Sarge.
You can see Cappadocia. One of them is ATV tours, the hot air balloons. It's so much more windy. Or the one we've chosen because we're stingy, hiking. We found one blog post online that says you should start this hike from here. So we could have done more research, but we'll be fine.
So normally this valley and everywhere above it would be filled with balloons. Right now it's not, so everything kind of blends in with the background a bit, but it's still really cool. I did read those balloons happen here because back in the day a cassette company wanted to advertise for their new cassette player that was coming up. They put a balloon out here, people loved it and the locals ran with it.
What?
So tourism boards and everyone just kept getting more and more and more balloons, so they're everywhere here. It's so famous to the point that they've tried other places in Turkey and everywhere's failed because everyone just wants to come here, and it's all from one cassette company.
That's so weird. I had no idea.
How random.
Crazy. Thank you for this viewpoint, you can really start to understand why this is called Love Valley. This is pretty cool. So I read on the blog post that there's some like homemade sort of cafes along the hike, and we just came to our first one. So I think we're going to see how much a tea is. We don't have much money, so hopefully they're cheap.
I love Turkish tea. Tastes so good, and feel like it's acceptable to put heaps of sugar in it, so that's what we do. I didn't expect this. Like, Emily looked up that there was going to be cafes here, but I really didn't know. Pleasant surprise. I'm left wondering how they get all the supplies in though. But it's a very cool place to stop in and have a Turkish tea, surrounded by shapes, surrounded by fairy chimneys.
When we finished our delicious tea, we tried to follow the hiking trail through Love Valley as best we could, but quickly realised that there's sometimes a clear, well-defined path, and other times we were left scaling walls and following dried-up creek beds. With no one else in sight, we continued trying to make the next best decision that would take us in the right direction.
It's dark. Hello?
Wow, that was cool.
Our moods were still high at this point, and even though we were taking a beating from the wind, we were surrounded by an amazing landscape that looked like something from another planet. One minute you would be in the valley surrounded by shrubs and trees, and the next we were walking through a carved out tunnel in the middle of a fairy chimney.
We just got our first glimpse of the castle we're trying to get to over here. Over here. Is that right? It still looks like it's ages away though, and we have been hiking for... It's almost midday. Wasn't this meant to be an hour and a half? Mamma mia!
Whoa! We've reached the top of the valley and we can see the castle a little bit clearer, but it's still a while away.
So from what I could glean online, the fairy chimneys were made, basically there was a bunch of volcanoes ages ago which left some sort of sediment. When that like water and wind sort of eroded everything away, the fairy chimneys were what was left. But then people figured out that even though they're really sturdy against the elements, they're quite malleable. So they started carving them out and using them as like houses and stuff. Which is why, as you're walking and hiking, you can see like windows or doors or stuff carved into it. It's so cool.
It is really cool, but it is really windy. It looks like it's about to rain. We were gonna hike back through another valley. Pigeon Valley. I think we're gonna try and find a bus back because
there's meant to be a local bus that will shuttle between the two cities. Maybe we'll get lunch first and then shuttle back.
yeah, good idea. We have officially been beaten by the wind and the dust. It's just too much up here. It's crazy how different Turkey can be. Like here it is dry, arid, dusty desert. And we just came from Kash, which was just like lush, colorful, vibrant hillside, seaside town. Crazy.
I literally have dust in my eyes.
Yeah.
The last half hour or so has been pretty miserable. It's so windy that it's hard to walk, and it's picking up all of the sand and dust, and just like my face feels like there is a layer of I just got more in there.
We're just gonna end it here, try and find our way back down into the main town.
And hide from the wind. Have
Hide
a
from
shower
the
to get
wind.
all this dust
Yes.
off.
Whew, Cappadocia.
It's our last morning in Cappadocia, and we have woken up to snow. So we're having our last coffee in the freezing cold, looking at all of the snowy mountains.